Peace, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful ass, magical ass moment in time, everyone. I got a massage for you, so let's see what's going down. Alexa, play Light Codes by Nubiandivine.
I couldn't find Lighthouse by
Nubian
Divine, but here is other music
Alexa.
by Nubiandivine.
Play Light Codes by Nubiandivine.
Light Codes by Nubiandivine on Amazon Music.
Yeah! She said it all breaking shit. Light Codes by Nubiandivine. Anyways, as long as she's playing my shit, she can say it any kind of way she wants to, right? What's up, y'all? I's back. Giving you some more energy in this frequency, vibration, time. Let's get it in. Oh yeah. I've awakened to my mission in life. Captivated by this border high. Dangerous temple got the keys in my mind. I am live. I'm a nubis, I'm a element. World is changing, no more games in this trance. Y'all keep playing with this life like a dance. Yeah. I was born for this. The DNA code for this. Yeah. Is anybody feeling these? Light code galactic ascension keys. I know my ass is. Is anybody feeling these? Light code galactic ascension keys. The world is changing, take a look at the times. More is merely low vibrations of mine. This shit that's really mesmerized my vibe. I scribe. And I know I'm the Ark Covenant. Atlantis, my address, is my land. Sacred systematic code, I'm supreme. Goddess. Yeah. My nobility. The DNA can code for this. Is anybody feeling these? Light code galactic ascension keys. Is anybody feeling these? Light code galactic ascension keys. Ancestors surround me. I was born for this. The DNA coded for this. Told ya. And if you don't know, now you know. What's up, y'all? I's back. Want to give a download really fast to give you a massage that my guides were giving me to give y'all. Okay, so first and foremost, sis, please stop purchasing hair weaves right now. For what? Why are you even remotely buying hair weaves in the first place? A hair weave, first of all, if you do your detailed research on the hair weave, it is filled with so many toxins within that hair weave, as well as different chemicals within that hair weave that is literally poisoning your vibratory field. First of all, in order for you to unite with hair weave, you have to be in the mindset, first of all, that there is something missing within you. The mere fact that you are purchasing hair weaves right now and not looking at the fact that there is a massive famine that is happening as I speak up on our land. Are you going to be able to feed your children that hair? Are you going to? They have no respect for you for the simple fact that you don't have any respect for yourself. My guides say those who are entertaining hair weaves, majority masses of self, from the downloads that is being placed upon you in these energetic timelines. Your hair is antennas. I used to think that it was only black girls that wore hair weaves until I went upon the task and the quest for identity within my stripping days. And I realized, damn, white people wear just as many hair weaves as black folks. So here it is. It don't matter what your colors is. Black, white, green, purple, Mexican, don't matter. Oh, that was a... Trust me, that was not a race. There's only 5 races. So if I mention something, trust me, there's only 5 races. That's it. All right? So here it is. You're in a space where the hair weaves that you are, first of all, putting in your hair, so many people overseas are lining up to cut their hair that they grow their whole entire life. And then they give this hair as a sacrifice unto the gods, as a dedication. Mainly, a lot of them are giving that hair weave as a donation to those who can't grow hair, such as, i.e., cancer patients or people who just don't have hair, or they want to make a specific sacrifice unto the gods. I'll never forget when I shaved my head bald. I was mad at my ex because he would not spend $1,500 every 2 weeks on his and her hair weaves that I was used to getting. So I called myself punishing him. But yet I was punishing myself with my own little temper tantrum, saying, fine, if you don't love me, I won't love me either. And I stood in the mirror and I cut the whole entire hair weave out of my head, starting from the root of my head, and walked out in front of him and said, look at me. And he looked at my ass like, the hell is wrong with you, Nubian? And his son came out and he said, no, no. And I stood there like, well, it's done now. And I went back and I stood in the bathroom mirror and I looked at myself and I was like, well, no one's gonna love me now. And just that statement alone did something to me energetically that caused me to even look at my children and how raising my children growing up in Los Angeles, I realized that the lines were literally 3 blocks long for my children to audition for Target commercials, McDonald's commercials, That's So Raven, you name the show, they had to stand in the line for it, and it was miles long, filled with children. And I came up with a concept of, let my child stand out. So I put blonde braids into my child's hair. And those blonde braids began to land my child every single job that we went for, no matter how many children auditioned for that part. So my child grew up as a child actress, a child star, starting with her first job on Crossing Jordan when she was 2 weeks old. The director said action, she began to cry, and he said cut, and she stopped crying. And they handed me my baby. She had her own trailer with her own name on it, and we were chilling. But then I realized over the years, putting that blonde wig and the blonde weaves in her hair began to do something to her personally. It not only caused mental damage to her by not allowing her to embrace herself as her natural self, to know that she does not need a weave to define her, that the look was not outside of her. But I did not realize this until I began to take the weaves out of her hair. And then I began to realize that she didn't want to face her peers at school. Her peers even made fun of her if they felt like she had some type of nappy hair or something like that. Now don't get it twisted, I always homeschool my children, but I did listen. When my children wanted to try the public school system, I still put them in schools, even if it was for 30 days. And they had their own personal experience, which was the children from the classes recognized them as child stars. So the hallways would be crowded with the students and the children outside of the classroom screaming for my daughters to give them autographs, and they weren't even 3 and 4 and 5 years old. So with such massive crowds, I would have to have my daughter make smiley faces and sign it for the children because it was so many of them, including the teachers. We're trying to receive my daughter's autograph. I realized then that I could not have my daughter in the public school system because it was about the status of her celebrityhood more so as it was for her being recognized as her true authentic self. And this is when the divine spirit of life, our ancestors, wayshowers, and guides begin to take us all on a quest for identity, to literally take the weaves out of our hair. But then I began to do further research into my visions that I began to have as they were showing me that our hair is antennas. Your hair is receiving light codes from the frequencies of the earth. So if you notice, sometimes you'll hold a brush up to it and your hair will start frizzing, or you brush it a certain way, or you comb it a certain way, or your hair will start shedding during a certain time of the season, or to grow when you eat certain foods, or to fall out when you don't eat certain foods, or when you're under certain stress. Your hair is the template for the whole entire body. Your hair will tell you what's happening to your body and or within your body as well as outside of you. Your hair is a frequency shift of you. So if you're busy putting hair weaves in your hair or dyeing, frying, dechemicalizing your hair, then you're not receiving the light codes that you are to receive. Every single one of us on this planet, in this plane of existence, we were all born with a soft spot in the middle of our head. Right smack there, in that soft spot, is a portal into your medulla oblongata, the portal of your Christ consciousness, the portal of you, that activates that snake within you, that kundalini energy that awakens you to your third eye, to cause you to be able to know or not to know, to see or not to see. So many people don't even realize that when you're doing specific braids in your hair and then you burn the end of the braids is shooting out a chemical in the air that is causing different fibroid diseases, breast cancers, different tumors within the body, and different fumes that's being let off in the air that's worse than cigarette smoke. So many people want others to look at them in a specific way. I'll take myself once again as an example. I used to put specific blonde weaves in my hair coming up in Los Angeles. And it's just like Chris Rock said, anytime that they were to ship massive imports of hair weaves from overseas, Los Angeles was the first place that they would stop. So trust me when I say his and her hair, I was there because I wanted the same hair Janet Jackson had. And if I knew Janet Jackson went to his and her hair, that's where I was at to get my hair. And when I could not afford to pay that $1,500 every 2 weeks to get that Brazilian ass, luxury ass hair that someone sacrificed to donate for them to turn around and to sell it, then here it is. I would call in from work. I would call off sick. I would literally lay in bed all day. It would literally make me sick to my stomach. I did not want to be in the mirror. I couldn't face myself. And then I began to realize, it was a trend in LA that all the hairstylists knew it. Okay, summertime, you do the reds and the blondes. And then the winter, you start doing the darker and the browner colors. And in the fall season, you can mix it up a little bit. Start doing a little choppy chop, tiger colors. So we were able to study the hair in that aspect. But no one taught us the true essence of the hair being your antennas, being the frequency of your whole entire body. Your hair literally is the very first thing in your hair that is receiving energies, that is giving you light codes, even for you to be able to embark upon the path of your own life. I remember wearing blonde weaves in my hair, and wearing blonde weaves would get me certain attention, and I wanted this specific attention. So I would wear blonde weaves, but every time I wore a blonde weave, something would happen, and I would get in some type of either accident, event, or fight, or something would happen. Not even realizing that not just from the blonde weaves, but all the weaves. Those of you who wear weaves, you probably even realize that you're in some type of fight or something with some type of altercation, or your money is taken, or something is happening on your path where you're miscombobulated. Wearing weaves in your hair is causing you to not deal with your own personal pain within yourself, not allowing you to face your own personal transformation, not allowing you to love yourself and or accept yourself. So therefore you are defining yourself outside of yourself because you want someone else to see you in a certain way, even if it's a guy or even if it's a girl. You want others to see you in a specific light, but at the same time, that person does not love you nor respect you because you don't love and or respect yourself, and they're not falling in love with you. They're falling in love with a figment or a imitation portion of you. Wearing hair weaves will definitely cause you to go into debt, poverty, mentally, physically, spiritually, and or emotionally. You are teaching your children how not to love themselves. You are teaching your children as well as yourself to look outside of yourself for acceptance. You refuse to look deep within yourself, to do that healing within yourself, to be okay with being natural. Being in a space of natural, there is no one like you on this planet, in this plane of existence, and there never will be. You are the one that have that DNA makeup that is unique from anyone else's DNA makeup in this universe, omniverse, multiverse. However, we're in a time right now where there has been massive famine that has transpired upon our land. My guides were telling me to tell you that for a long time, people passed away, and then family members would have to dress their bodies up for the morgue to bury them for their funeral. My guides were sharing with me that right now, those of you who are still purchasing hair weaves and eye wigs, you are dressing yourself up right now for your own funeral. And in the coming days ahead, you will sit in the rooms, in the homes with your children, and you will stare at them and you will remember my words. And you will remember that instead of you purchasing food and supplies to put away for your children, what it is you have done is you have been dressed up but messed up. You have continued to carry on generational karma, trauma, wounds, and blockages that you refuse to do the work within yourself. So therefore, you were teaching another generation to look for love outside of themselves, because that is a pattern in which it is that you have instilled in them, because children are not going to do what it is that you tell them to do. They're going to do what it is that they see you do. You are the example of you. Therefore, in these times, in order for you to be able to thrive through these times, to make it through these times, your best bet is to look deep within the self, learn to love yourself, and know that right now we're receiving light codes at an all-time high, on a whole nother level. We're on a whole nother frequency. We are transpiring through a whole nother shift. And trust me when I say Medusa's hair, the snakes that came from her hair, trust me when I say, when you step into the natural essence of you, you will begin to realize that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you at all. You're living in a world where you were taught to live outside of yourself. You were taught to look at that magazine. You were taught to be like the girl in the magazine versus being like the girl within you, loving yourself and stealing that energy towards yourself. So I challenge each and every one of you out there today to stop throwing your money away on unnecessary things that have nothing to do with you at all. Pretty soon, you're not even going to be able to have access to a hair weave, and you're going to see a whole lot of ugly motherfuckers walking around. Why? Because people are going to be so pissed off, not just physically on the outside, but eternally, where they have to deal with their lack of respect for self, because they did not do that work. So therefore, they will find themselves in spaces of having to face themselves for the first time. And trust me when I say this is going to be very uncomfortable for a lot of people. So many people are eating what it is that they should be saving and preserving right now for their children. So many people are smoking up their food, drinking up their food, their water. we will also have a water shortage upon this planet. You're only hearing about the food right now, but I know for a fact within all of my talent and my spiritual essence of who it is that I have come here to be, that there is massive famine on the land. And the famine is dealing with a space of spirituality. That is dealing with the ebb and flow of you. Our bodies are 70% waters. However, many of you will find a lack of water within the people as well as a lack of water upon the land. Very soon you will go to your water fountains and faucets to turn that water on, and the water will not come on. So many of you are looking for love outside of yourself, but yet you're doing yourself a disservice, as well as your children, as well as your bloodline, as well as the ones who you claim that you love and you want to paint this image for. You're doing yourself a disservice by continuing to paint a picture of someone that you are not. Those hair weaves are causing confusion and Alzheimer's. They're causing your brain to even forget who you are. They're causing you to not look deep within the self, to love yourself, to spend time on yourself, to say, hey, I don't need a hair weave. I don't need to fry, dye, to chemicalize my hair to death. I want to tap into the frequencies of me. I want to love me. When you get to that space of knowing, you'll find yourself in these realms that have taken you to new heights. And then the scales will begin to fall off your eyes, and you'll begin to see the world in a whole nother perspective. A world that was merely painted to awaken you to your mission in life, but you must be willing to accept the mission. The mission is not outside of you. It's all coming from within. Nubian Divine.